Oh, there's no use. I've lost the keys. Now Gwaltmay'll have my head if I can't think up something fast. Say, you're not good with locks, are you? Would you help a poor fellow who's down on his luck? Oh, the things they say about that Lanshi. That she talked a Jotun out of his own hammer once. And another time sold some Varani fool his own silk for twice as much, after cutting it to ribbons and winding it on spools. Well, he's a good enough master all in all. Sees to it I earn every coin of my wages, though. No standing about, not in his shop. With all these people walking around, you'd figure someone would help me after I lost my keys. Me, Gwaltmay calls me lad whenever he wants me, and the others call me hardly anything at all. Just fetch this and lift that. Yes, as in, no need for keys. Ace with a lockpick. Gwaltmay wants an old red ledger from the storeroom in the customs house. Oh, I'm afraid they're lost for good. Now, I might have dropped them here, or at Kest's table the other night. But it's just as likely I dropped them in Bracken Bay after I'd had an ale or three at the Seafoam. The chest it's in, that is, yes. Although I don't know which one it is. But it's down there, somewhere. Oh, now don't worry, nothing in the storeroom's seen the light of day in years. No one will mind if you pick a few locks before you find it. Gets these ideas into his head. Needs this old thing, needs that new thing. This time it's shard prices by the decade. Something to do with a deal he is or isn't striking with that Carasta trader. The Chamber of Trade's on the way to the quays, and the storeroom's off one of the wings. Just pick any lock down there till you find the old ledger.
Don't you just love the luminary leaf? I could sit here reading for days and not reach past the first shelf. War is ugly. Perhaps if the generals did more reading, the scholars did more fighting, then everyone would better understand the pointlessness of violence. I'm studying in preparation to join the Scholia Arcana. Is there any other reason to be in Rathir? This is where magic lives. It is the only place to be if you wish to study the arcane, to see the lunar gardens, or to gain an audience with the Archsage himself. How do you know my brother? Wait. He's dead? Ram. No, it can't be. I told him this would happen, but he wouldn't listen. Pig-headed fool! War isn't the way. Anyone who knows history knows that. But Ram was too impatient for words. He was so brash, so brave. We couldn't have been more different, Ram and I. He always excelled at hunting, fighting, combat. Me, I was always the family joke, a boy with his nose in a book. What Ram never knew, and will never know now, is that I admired him greatly. I wanted to be like him, strong, confident, passionate. True, I believe that the Crystal War is a doomed affair, but my criticism of it was more about keeping my brother home. Home, safe.
Welcome, friend, to the Luminary Leaf, bookseller extraordinaire. Nearly any book you can imagine can be found here at the Luminary Leaf, be it history, verse, or scholarship. Though, I must confess, we are not as well supplied in gnomish texts as I would like. The ancient steps of our founder and prophet are dear to any Rathiri's heart, but mine shall always stir to the brave tales of the war-sworn of old, pitting steel and valor against chaos itself. In truth, I once thought I might be a poet, but it seems in the end I am more shepherd than ram to my flock of tomes. Ah, you see? My metaphors always run amok somehow. I cannot ascend the steps of the spire without thinking on the first lines of the Fall of Dwinian, nor espy the Wending and not recall Stone Shadows. Rathir is a city of letters. I dare anyone to say otherwise. Now, while many books can be found only within Scholia Arcana walls, others can only be found without. Gnomish texts, magical controversies. Pelewin tugs at the heartstrings. Medara's mists at dawn takes my breath away. If you seek something a bit more rough and lively, the Varani Kesseniki or Sea Chance might be worth a read.
Ruwani, apothecary, alchemist, importer, and cultivator at your service. If you think yourself a bit of an amateur, you are welcome to the use of my alchemist's bench. I'm happy to sell you anything you require, and forgive any faces I make at your fitful potioneering. Oh, you've met them? Well, any friend of theirs is a friend of mine, although, truth be told, those sisters can be a little strange sometimes. I've always found the mystery of herbs and fungi far more fascinating than anything else. As soon as I was old enough, I was apprenticed to the great Rilf Janik. Were you aware that 37 varieties of vine, flower, and tree can be found here? Discounting, of course, the lunar gardens. Have you been? The true marvel of our city, if you ask me. Blossoms you will see nowhere else in Amalur.
Tell me, what brings you to this sacred place? For prayer? For the weaving of your fate? Or for the orison? There is something peculiar about you. The threads are... But you know of this, don't you? Then you are the one. I had heard rumors, but never thought... Well, it is good to meet you. You have drawn Lyria's attention. May I look into your cards? It is said that our goddess is the goddess of magic, but by so being, she is goddess of the heart of things, of mystery, and the true weaver of fate. This temple was founded by Bayala Tirin herself, mother and prophetess of our people. It was High Priestess Tirin who led our people from Glen Sutton. It was she who found Rathir. It was she who sheltered and guided us, who made us who we are. Though few of your kind do, all are welcome to the orison. Perform 3 tasks of devotion to Lyria, and in exchange, earn her blessing. Sojourn, service, and giving. They wind from outward to inward, and from the depths of our history to this very moment. It is no idle turn of phrase. Though you gave of yourself to earn it, your gain will be greater than the sacrifice. You began when you entered this temple. The first task is the sojourn. Have this. It is an amphora. With it, travel to the 3 springs blessed by Priestess Tirin on her sojourn from the north. Fill the amphora with some of each spring. One is just outside Rathir, a second in Lower Galafor, the third is in Snowmelt Pass.
Yeah? What are you doing here? I don't suppose you're becoming a child of Lyria. The damned fool. All the work I do for him in camp, all the sacrifices I've made to be with him. He's ignored it all. He made a little mistake, but that's the last one. I won't wait around until he forgets me entirely. I'm not the queen of anything now, and I'm not keen to do any talking. I spent my life growing up in the upper city of Rathir, so you might not understand, but I love that camp. There's always colors and dancing and music. I feel free there. It's hard to be apart from it. Stupid Irian. I've taken orders before, but a commander ought to at least look a soldier in the eye when telling them what to do. But the Hierophant doesn't do that. The orders just come in secret and no one takes responsibility for them. A damn fool idea, if you ask me. They break away from all the rules, the trappings, and be themselves. I remember that was why I first joined. Lyria, you think you might want to speak a little more quietly? I don't need anyone here getting wise to me. And let me guess, you're a traveler and you've been called to seal the cowl of the maiden. Well, I beat you to it. Cowl's mine. I guess you're right. Irian has a flair for the melodramatic, sure, but I know he's taken my loss hard. It seems I can't get away from the travelers. They really are my life. Fine, take the cowl. I'm headed back to Moon Camp.
Welcome to our temple. I am a daughter of Lyria, one of many sons and daughters who have devoted themselves here. My station is to look after the relics sacred to our order. Sadly, many of the relics we once had are now lost. It was long ago. I don't know very much about it. There were the plague times, and then the burning, and then they were over. The second burning came when the Tuatha broke through our defenses. They set our southern keys on fire. I remember it. I watched from here. The Lunar Gardens, or sometimes the Garden of Eternal Night, dedicated to the goddess Lunala. How it works is a mystery. Lunala is goddess of night, the moon, and what is hidden. It is said she is Lyria's handmaiden, or her daughter, or her younger sister. The goddess of magic, fate, mysteries. We believe that order and chaos are how others want the world to be. But Lyria is concerned with what is, and what can truly change it. True wisdom is knowing the one and grasping the other. All are welcome here to pray, to reflect and find peace. If you seek fate weaving or the orison, you should speak with the High Priestess. It has left so many scars on our city, our souls, and the land beyond. Nor has it stopped taking life. Priestess Saranen oversees the temple. Though her station is high, she is gracious and open to all who visit. She will weave your fate if you ask, or lead you on the sacred ritual we call the orison. You should speak with her if you wish to know more. When the war first came, we sent one out to every stronghold keep. This served two purposes. It brought faith and strength to our soldiers there, and if Rathir fell, some relics might still remain. We have announced a gold reward for their return, but sadly, none have yet come back to us. Please do. There are at least 6 that I know of, sent to the major strongholds of the plains of Arethel. Bring any you find to me. Lyria rewards those in her favor. They were primarily sent to the strongholds of the plains of Arethel, but any that you find will be gladly welcomed and thanked with gold. The great Alfar strongholds of Arethel are Dolve Arn, Verki, Rithen, Candrian, Dolve Whale, and Corgan Hold.
On behalf of myself, my wife and my daughter, I welcome you to the spire top, and all that House Wyvern Giff can offer. I'm the patriarch of the Wyvern Giff Great House. Show the proper respect. You must forgive my Lady Tanra if she sometimes speaks out of temper. It's been very hard for her. You see, some of the great houses have been slower to accept her than basic civility demands they should. The Orbocant is our ruling council. Its members are shrouded except the Elund, who speaks for them. You mean the Song of My Heart? She's the sweetest thing. Though I worry her mother coddles her some. I'm a spiritual man myself and visit the temple gardens daily. The High Priestess offers blessings, counsel, and fate-weaving. It is peculiar, I confess, that we kept my name, but the Wyverns are a very old family, and all agreed it was best if it were joined with Giff. Atop the spire you will find the 2 preeminent great houses, Anwan and our own. You will also find the Scholia Arcana, the Orbicant, and the Temple of Lyria. You are a student there yourself, are you not? Many of the important and powerful in Rathir have graced those halls. I wish you fortune. Are you serious? You must have had one too many ales, rat. Stay away from me.
I am the governess of Miss Wyvern Giff. It is my duty to train my charge in matters of speech and persuasion. I will confess, there are days I yearn for a more eager pupil. A topic that interests you? Would you like to learn some of the art? I am confident a small lesson would be permitted by the house. We are a people of subtle speech and hidden hands. All around us is great beauty, yes, but what does it hide? I do not blame her. Were her parents more persuasive themselves, such willfulness would have been smothered long ago.
Did my parents send you? Are you some sort of new instructor? You're not an instructor? I thought they might have sent another. They've had Majessa here for almost a year now. She does always get me to attend to her lessons somehow, though I'm not sure how she does it. I know what they want. They want to marry me to some snotty, spoiled son of another great house. Then I can become Maewyn Wyvern Gif Fiddlestuffs. I suppose it's nice enough, but then I wouldn't know. I have nothing to compare it to. I don't know which is worse, the snotty wyverns or the foolish fawning gifts. What is this? Have my parents seen this? Oh, Lunala's starry smile, yes, yes, and yes! To Chloricon. Think of it. They won't like it when they hear, but what can they do? Buy me out of it? No, not this time. Thank you, stranger. Thank you. Imagine, right in the thick of the war, and me with a sylvan spear, facing red-eyed howling Tuatha. And life beyond the spire.
My Lady Coriana won't eat. She won't sleep. All on account of a poor, sick Malian. Woe on House Anwan. Oh, my masters aren't like some up spire top. Just one name to our house, thank you very much, and nearly old as Rathir at that. There are but 2 left of Anwan blood. One soon enough if young Master Malian does not mend. My poor lady, what grief she's known. Her daughters lost to Chloricon and her husband to the war before that. Her son Malian is all that's left to her, and the only seed of House Anwan. Poor boy, he sleeps and tosses and turns. From the things he says under his breath, his dreams must be ghastly things. The healers say bad blood, but my lady swears it's poison. He sleeps and sleeps, but he's never any better. Well, it's hard to say. The healers are no use. You could go to her yourself and ask. No harm in that. You'll find my lady in the house, by poor Malian's side, most likely. The young master's sickness, yes. He's the last one living, what with the others dead in the war. Here, in House Anwan. She spends most of her time by poor young Malian's sickbed.
My son Malian is gravely ill. The healers say his blood is diseased, but I am sure it must be poison. If I were younger, I'd go and find the Lepidus myself and prove them wrong. The healers name it as an affliction of the blood, but Anwan blood has bent beneath no malady in generations. No, Malian was poisoned, I am sure. Our line is ancient. However, if my son Malian is not cured, we shall wither, and the weeds of Wyvern Gif grasp ever higher. His father died in the Battle of Galliffer Plain, his sisters in Chloricon. He is all I have left, and he is slipping away from me. It was early in the war, and until that time we had known only defeat. The day was won, and my husband lost. The Wyverns were of respected and decent lineage, though their wealth was not great. Then the merchants Gif bought House Wyvern, much to our surprise. They have mixed sea wash with fine wine. Bring my son this wild plant, and I will see you richly rewarded. This I swear. Of course not. But my family legacy says it will, and I have no wish to watch my son die while there is still a chance for hope. There's only one place that I know of, the Acathan wetlands. You must search for it there. You will know Lepidus by the shape of its blue flower. It is an herb with natural properties. It is not strictly alchemy, and it does not cure a poison. However, it can relieve the symptoms for a time. Malian will still need an antidote before he is fully well.
Tell me something. Are you in the habit of just walking into people's houses uninvited? Does that ever end poorly? I'd think most people would object to strangers rifling through their things. Of course, I am not most people. Come to think of it, it has been too long since I've enjoyed the conversation of strangers. Now that is the question, isn't it? I'm going to need time to figure that out. Which gives you plenty of time to get us some refreshments. Have you ever heard of the Rialte Brocaire? It is a particularly rare vintage from the north. Why don't you travel to Lucky Mine and root around a bit? Find a bottle of the Rialte Brocaire for us to share, and then we'll talk. Not many choose to live upon the flooded plains of Acatha. Between the Tuatha and the Wild Fae, it is a place of little worth. Still, I like to call it home. You wish to know of me? I am not that interesting, I promise. Once, Candrian was a small kingdom whose borders included the land of Acatha. The lords of Candrian ruled from a great keep to the southeast. Now it is little more than a dilapidated fortress looming over a run-down village south of here. The war has bled it dry. I haven't tasted its sweet sorrow since I was a young warlord. Bring me a bottle and I'll tell you all about those long-forgotten days. Ah, a bottle of the Rialte Brocaire. This is going to treat me right. Yes, indeed. You've done me quite the boon fetching this, though I'll admit it leads me to outrageous wagers. For instance this. If you can complete 8 labours of my choosing, I shall give you the treasures of Erethel. It is rare I meet a stranger such as yourself, and I would like to take this opportunity to set things right. I assure you the reward will be well worth it. Excellent! You've already fetched the Rialte Brocaire for me. That can count as the first of the 8 labours. Well done. Now, your next task. Take this letter to a man named Matix Dace in the village of Candrian to the south. That is all. He was once a kind man, good for a laugh or an encouraging word. When I kidnapped his sister, though, something inside him snapped, and I cannot blame him, of course. Matix Dace is the resident brewmaster of the Candrian Inn. He spent his entire life behind that bar. When you give him the letter, it's probably best if you don't mention me immediately. Let him figure things out for himself.
For common goods, come to me. Gems and shards, Maeve Arigal, right over there. Mabrin wine? Wherever did you find it? Forgive me, it's just they're devilish hard to find. You likely had no idea, but there's not a wine in the world I love more. In fact, I think I'll uncork this now and have a sip. Or 2. Ah. What's this now? Carasta's contract? Ought to have known she was behind this. Still, I suppose I was a bit hard on her. Here's a reasonable figure. She shouldn't turn her nose up at this. What do you say? No, don't take it like that. Oh, well, it won't ruin me. Here's the deal. She's got it for a song. How's that? A remarkable woman, there's no denying. But you be wary. Those eyes of hers make promises. Promise things she'll never give. Now there's Anwan and Wyvern Gif. The old oak and the greenweed, some say. Not I. The kind of one's as good as the other. Friend to any soul with such distinguished taste in wine. To you, friend. Yes, what about him? I sent him on an errand and I'm still waiting.
A captain of the watch never rests, but you've caught me at a good time. If I can do anything for you, simply ask. We see that order is kept and law-breaking does not pass unnoticed. If I may say so, we are very good. You will find no crime on the streets of our city, I assure you. Our prison is here within the watch. All but the worst criminals serve their sentence there. Not a pleasant prospect. A grand and venerable city, is it not? Like none other. So many marvels, such great citizens. Yes, I know of them. Rag-pickers, orphans, denizens of the Wending. Sparrows? Murdered? I see. I'm so glad you've come to me before this went any further. As it happens, an old enemy of theirs has returned to Rathir. Dunn. Orwin Dunn, spotted on the quays. I have no guards to spare, but if you went now, found him, brought him in for questioning, Dunn could be found guilty. We have heard that he was spotted on the quays, snuck in aboard a merchant ship, most likely. A patrol of the watch will be sent after him, but if you were to go before, find him, prevent his escape, that would be well.
The contract? You have it. Let me see. This is... I don't believe my eyes. Did he agree to this? Oh, my lovely, you have done well. This will be very profitable for me, and so it should be for you. Don't let the old dog fool you. He is as shrewd and stubborn as they come. But like any old dog, his tail will wag for just the right treat.
Please, I'm only a soldier back from Cluricon. Don't kneel, and I'm afraid I don't do blessings. Me? They call me a war hero. Haven't you heard the songs? It was only 5 Bolgan, and I had a rusty knife. Huh, I don't see what all the fuss is about. As you know, until the siege ends, it's a lot of sitting around and brief skirmishes. Can't wait for a real fight. He's as vile as his sister's delectable. I don't know how word got round to him, though. I thought I was discreet. I tell you, we need a place like this in Cluricon. Sure, there are places to drink and gamble, but nothing with class. Well, here for the formalities, then. My sword is in the back. She's new, the real beauty. Go on and inspect it. I'm sure you'll find it more than suitable. Right in the next room on the wall. Won her off a Varani chap. Mind you, don't grasp the hilt. They say it's bad luck.
So, you're Wayland's dupe. Of course, most of it's in Cluricon, where the damned war is. We're here on leave. Bloody war hero, haven't you heard? And besides, he's right there. You can speak with him yourself. Oh, this is going to be a farce. I've a bet with Dalton whether Wayland soils his pants. We call it a war, but it's more a dying man's truce. We crouch in Melsen Sheer, and they lurk in Cursewood, and shoot arrows at each other.
Well, you're not the only one who's been busy. I've called in every last favor in my book. Now there's only one last thing for after the duel. I have it all worked out. With your help, I'll be free of Rathir, free of the war, free as a lark. I need to prepare for the duel, and I can't be seen near the docks. I need you to find Jaber there and give him the name of the ship I chartered, the Maid of Fortune. That's where I escape once everyone thinks I'm dead. A very mild poison. Don't ask how I know or why Gelfine sells it. You appear dead for the length of a day, then you wake with a terrible headache. The rows of shadows will very quickly make me seem dead to that warrior oaf. I'll be moved from a coffin to a shipping crate. From shipping crate to Maid of Fortune's hold, from there, the high seas and beyond. No Rathir, no war, not a care. A simple thing, really. Find Jaber on the docks. Tell him the chartered ship is the Maid of Fortune. Fitting name, don't you think?
You've been talking to my son. What is he up to? I already know about this foolish duel. There's something else, isn't there? Wayland's mother, mistress of worsted traders. Not a woman to stand by and watch her son stumble out of the frying pan and into the fire. With a son like Wayland, you learn quickly. And in the end, this is all my fault. I should never have breathed a word to him about military service. So that's it. I should have known. Disgrace a war hero and slip out of Rathir. Well, I tell you what. Go on as you were, but give him the name of Ravenswing instead. I'll ship him right to Cluricon. A good shaking up, that's what he needs. When it's done, find me here. You'll be handsomely paid, I promise.
You? How in the... Erlich, that turncoat. I never should have trusted a liar to commit murder. That's what murderers are for. What do you want? Of course I did. I'm not the Lord of Dolve Arn. I'm not even from the Tawili coast. But what does it matter? I only did what I had to do. Don't we all? The Rathir authorities don't have to know. Keep this quiet and let me sail with this galley, and you can have the gold I received for the treasures of Kuln. I am a man of my word. Most of the time. No, you wretch! You will rue the day you betrayed Crass. Do you hear me?
Wayland sent you. What's the word? This is a devilish curious business, and I don't mind saying so. A friend, you might say. I've been called other words, but don't you mind that. Raven's Wing? You're certainly named that ship. Well, and who am I to say otherwise? A friend of our friend, you might say. I've raised a glass or three with the lad now and then. Owe him a bit of a favour, too. Now, isn't that one of Forsted's own? I wouldn't have thought... But then you'd know best. You wish him luck for me. Make sure he's got the handle towards him and the point out the other way. Aye, if you'll go and second his duel. That's the bargain, ain't it? Let's do our parts.
Sparrows send a hound out to the piers, and of course, now we're right where he wants the both of us, you and I. You think I'd just waltz back into Rathir like that? No, he lured me here to take the blame for the murders. That's what he did. Why the captain of the watch? The one that's been snuffing out those sparrows. He likely sent you here himself. Got you out of the way so he could go and slaughter the last of them, leisure-like. Clever bastard he is. Read the writing on the wall, mate. And if you weren't such a fool, you'd have left those sorry rag pickers to die in peace. Oh, I'd spit on their sorry graves for what they've done to me. But not enough to show our faces in Rathir. We're not that mad. Oh, ho, ho. Now you see, that I cannot allow. Talibor is going to pin the murders on one of us, and it'll be the one who's dead. And that would be you.
You? You're the one. Do you know what you've done? A decoy, really. Arranged long before you got into this. I needed someone to blame. What? And you didn't murder Dunn? We've all got blood on our hands. We all protect our hides when we must. I couldn't have this waif and her lot telling what they'd found. Which is why it's so good that you came. I'll blame their murder on you. Say you died in the struggle.
He is dead. It is over now, thanks to you. And to think I only learned the cause of all this nightmare moments before he arrived. I was done with waiting. I had to do something, so I did what I know. I began sorting the piles of salvage, and that's when I found the cause. To hide his crimes, he was selling prisoners as slaves, smuggling them out to merchant ships in the dark of night. One of the boats wrecked and sank beneath the quays. That boat held slaves and gold and had Talibor's name all over it. Before he could clear the wreckage, we took our pickings. We had his secret. He was willing to kill to save his name. In past times, we shared freely with the Watch, as we once did with the Dunman, but no longer. We will look after ourselves now. Defend ourselves now. Yes, I think that's best. As long as one other sparrow survives, I will be there to help keep this nest and shelter.
Oh, I've been having such awful dreams. Insects crawling, dark things closing in. How long has it been? Feels like days. Days? Has it really? That does explain my back and my head. Poison? Oh, I remember. A bottle of rather good wine was delivered. A gift, you know. I thought I'd have a sip. And then Where is it now? It seems to have rolled under the bed. No one noticed, I suppose. You have it. It's a clue after all. Mother must have been so worried. Did I just fall asleep and stay that way? After my sisters died in Cluracan, I wasn't allowed to even train for fighting. All Anwan's posterity hangs upon me. I understand that. Both Cassin and Willa were much older, and I remember them as tall and fearsome and fair. They have been dead for more of my life than alive. I feel so foolish now. A gift left at our door, and without a thought, I simply drank it. Forgive me. Still a bit foggy, I'm afraid. I recall Onfei bringing in the wine. It looked good, so I thought I'd have a sip. Then, darkness. Our oldest house servant. She's as devoted to us as, well, as if we were her own children.
He has wakened? Thank Lyria. Here is your gold, but this matter is not yet settled. Find whoever did this, and far more gold shall be yours. The poison came in a gift of wine? Show it to Apothecary Rwani, down in the Pryderi. With luck, she can tell us the poison, perhaps the poisoner. Thanks to you, Malian will recover, and House Anwan shall thrive. You will find her at the spire base in the Pryderi. Present the poisoned wine to her. If anyone can help now, she can. The Lepidus has revived him, yet until we have antidote, he is not saved. And while the poisoner is unknown, neither is House Anwan.
Herbs and powders, potions and salves. An alarming question. Allow me. Yes, it is surely royal wince. Few possess such a compound. I am one. Lyria! What is more, I sold a phial of it recently to a servant of old Einar Abagast. This is terrible. I will send an antidote at once, but someone must do something. Go to the city watch. Speak with Fabian Tian. At once. I knew his face because he has come to me for various other alchemical items over the years. And I've seen him once exiting Arbogast's door. The famous hermit of the Keys. Though his merchant business thrives, it is said he has not left his home in years. Rathir's city guards, haven't you seen them? Leave my store and head left through the Pryderi. Find Fabian Tian and tell him what I've told you. The compound is extremely rare, as it comes only from the lands south of the southern Feylands. It's a devious poison, as you've seen. In far smaller doses, it is used by North Sea captains who must stand at the wheel for days unsleeping, lest they be sunk by floating ice.
How can I help you? Poison? I'd heard the boy was ill, but that is a bit far-fetched. I'll send one or two of the watch. You should meet them with these accusations at Abagast's house. Yes, and by Alfar law, you, the accuser, must be present. We don't take accusations against the great houses lightly.
He was a good servant. I knew him all his life, and now I have brought that life to a sweet and dutiful end. It was as he wished, though I know you will disbelieve me. I tell you no lies. I have waited for you, you know. Waited a long time. I would have waited longer, done more good, caused more death. But no matter. Balin's testament burns bright this day. Why? Balin is the god of death, of endings. His testament is simply that all that live must die. And I am his priest. Because I do Balin's will, because I have kept the testament, I would have begun with House Anwan and their two-tongued treachery, then onward throughout Rathir. Death where I might, until my turn came.
It is done? Was he... Here, take this, and I must make a confession. I nearly married Einar Abagast many years ago. My parents forbade it. I knew it was wrong, that he didn't deserve to be treated so. The follies of youth. I never dreamed he would grow so bitter and turn to that dark cult. Never. Sometimes I think, if I had married him, I now would be no better than the wyvern gift. And in the years since I broke our vows, I have had my own share of tragedy and loss. Yet I have not let it ruin me. But such is life in House Anwan. Rawani's antidote was true. He will improve. I have lost his father and his sisters to the war, but I shall not lose him.
The amphora is full? Good. I will hold that for now. So you have seen what Bayalatiran saw, and walked where she walked. Now hear what our prophetess taught. From the frozen north, she led our forebears across the plains to Snowmelt Pass. There she promised all a place. At Snowmelt Spring, above the sea, they turned to see the far-off shores they had left behind, and all was sore of heart. Bayalatiran consoled them then. Forget what you left behind, she said. We go to a new home, where each shall have a place. And then they came to the pools of Gallifore Plain, where she taught that Lyria's grace is like the waters all around. There a line formed to drink and bathe, and those at the back of the line bickered with those in the front. Bayalatiran grew angry. She spoke to her children, saying that as this spring flows, so do Lyria's blessings, to all and wide, and without preference. From there, they continued east until they stood upon the bluffs and saw this spire. There, Tyrion taught us of the 3 gifts. Every Rethiri child knows the 3 gifts, learns them by heart. They are shelter, blessing, and hope. All who dwell in Lyria's city shall find shelter. All may come to this temple for blessing and orison, and for all, the hope of a better day. Now you know what you need to know. You are ready for the second task. It is service. Each seeking the orison must serve Lyria among her people. For you, there is a man named Nur in the lower tunnels. Day and night he profanes the name of Lyria with falsehoods. Discredit his words before the ears of my children. Drive him away from there. To do this, you must rely on the teachings of the Sojourn. Shall I repeat them for you now? Of course. From the frozen north, Bayalatiran led our forebears across the plains to Snowmelt Pass. There she promised all a place. And then they came to the pools of Gallifore Plain, where she taught that Lyria's grace is like the waters all around. From there, they continued east until they stood upon the bluffs and saw this spire. There, Tyrion taught us of the 3 gifts. Now you know what you need to know. You are ready for the second task. Yes. Go to where he preaches lies in the lower tunnels of this city. Challenge him. Prove him false. Shame him and drive him away. I think the lessons of the Sojourn will help you in this. Do you wish to hear them again? Good. Go then, and do Lyria's work.
A human more loved by Lyria than us? Tell me then, does Lyria not love those above more than she loves us? Why else would she put the fortunate upon the spire with her temple and cast us down here in the dark? What chains? I'm here of my own free will to teach. Ill fate and poverty has driven me here. You twist my words, villain. If you're so clever, then tell me, are we not fated? Did Lyria not place us down here by design? What do I? Why, you thick-skulled Uruk, you petty snot-nosed. Look at what they do. They trick you, they... Forgive me, my friends. But you do not deny it, then? You admit that Lyria gave us our lot, gave us nothing but these dank caves and a few meager coins? How dare you? What? Don't you laugh at me! After all, I mean, friends, I speak hastily. This devil has tangled my words. Wipe those smirks off your faces. I see them. I tell you truths, and you smirk? You laugh at me? Fine. Stay the sheep you are. Stay in your pen.
Good. You're here. Wish me luck.
How the blazes did I kill him? This was a duel to first blood. I can't stay in Rathia. This will get out. I was a hero here. All those fine dinners, the adoring girls. They'll hear of this. I'll be a monster to them now. That's where I'm headed after this mess. Dead? How is he dead? I hit him once.
You did the right thing. I know Chloricon is good for the boy. Now, here is your reward, as promised. We don't pretend to the great houses, unlike certain families I might mention, but many luminaries have dined with us all the same. Don't you know, the An ones are an ancient line, though if what I have heard is true, it may be near its end. The Wyvern gifts, on the other hand, no one has anything to say against the Wyverns, but then no one has anything to say to the gifts. You wish for a gnomish spun sweet, or a rare fey blade hilt. All these things must come to Rathir before they can be sold. I see to that. I think he'll learn the error of his ways this time. I'm sure he thought himself clever, as if I wouldn't find out. When you look about, you see a city of grace and magic. What I see is this bought dear, that sold cheap, cornered markets, doors to profit.